2016. Can we have the roll call, please?
Chairman Elliott,
Present.
Mr. Rogowski,
Present.
Mr. Alhousas, he's absent, he has an excused absence.
He's attending a funeral, I believe.
Yes. George Burris, or Mr.
Present.
Burris,
Present.
Mr. Eisner,
Present.
Ms. Sanner. Here.
Okay, let's hear next from our city attorney.
All right, the proceedings before the board tonight are quasi-judicial, where this board acts in quasi-judicial rather than legislative capacity at such a hearing. It is this board's function to apply law that has already been established by the city's code of ordinances. At such a hearing, the board is required by law to make findings of fact based upon the evidence presented to it at the hearing, and apply those findings of fact to previously established criteria contained in the city's code in order to make a legal decision regarding the application before it. This board may only consider evidence that the law considers competent, substantial, and relevant to the issues. If that evidence at the hearing demonstrates that the applicant has met the criteria, then the board is required by law to find in favor of the applicant. By the same token, if that evidence demonstrates that the applicant has failed to meet the criteria established by the code, then the board is required by law to find against the applicant. All witnesses must give their testimony under oath. All persons testifying must give their name and address for the record. And all testimony and questioning of this hearing must address matters that are relevant and material to the issues under consideration. City staff will present its testimony and evidence first. The applicant will then have an opportunity to cross-examine city staff. The applicant will then present its testimony to witnesses. The city staff will have the opportunity to cross-examine the applicant's witnesses. Members of the public opposing the application will be given the opportunity to present to speak. After all members of the public speaking in opposition have concluded, members of the public in support of the application will have the opportunity to speak. Each member of the public is limited to 4 minutes. The applicant will then have the opportunity to make a closing argument or a summary, after which staff will be given the same opportunity. Following this, the board will consider the matter, and board members may ask questions of the witnesses. A motion will be made and a vote taken. At this point, I'd ask the board members to please disclose any ex parte communications on either of tonight's applications. Shaking hands in the hallway doesn't count.
Does visit to the site count as ex parte?
No, this is the size of the communication. I'd ask for all witnesses who intend to testify tonight to please stand and be sworn.
Stand up and take the oath, please. You want to testify? I swear you.
If you're going to give testimony tonight, I'm going to ask you to stand and be sworn, please. You're going to speak in this application. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give tonight is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Mr. Elliott.
Thank you, sir. I trust everybody's turned off their cell phones. I'm going to start saying that. That's a good idea. The first applicant is continuation from last month's hearing. The board asked for a deferral to allow the applicant to speak. I don't know whether the staff has anything further to add from the first item. Oh, I'm sorry, approval of the minutes. Yeah. All right. I'm sorry. You all had a chance to review the minutes? Yes. Any comments on the minutes? Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. All right. No, I'm sorry. Okay, next up. Does the staff have any comment on the first applicant?
Nothing to add. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer those.
Is the applicant in the audience, Mrs. Connect?
Yes, I am here.
Okay. Could you go to the podium, please? And just tell us in your own words what you'd like to do.
Okay, so basically what I'm planning on doing in the last 2 years is to build a fence on my front yard, which I'm just asking to increase the height of the fence from 4 to 6 feet. There are two obvious reasons. The first one is that my attend this meeting and give the whole speech to all of you, how upset she is and how scared she is to live in this area. However, she's very sick and she just sent me a message. She wants me to read it to all of you. So I am scared to even be in my own driveway by myself. I have called the police on teenagers in there and have also smelled pot from my porch where they have all city councils there. I want them to put light out there. There is a public easement and they are responsible for public safety. Basically, that's how scared she is. But what I can personally do is just to build this fence, which is like 6 feet. And also, I have a child right here sitting there who watches this construction all the time, and all these people going in and out. Some of them are homeless, some of them are teenagers, or whoever they are. Well, it's a different story, but from my part, I'm just asking you to allow me to build a fence of there from 4 till 6. And basically it will be a beautiful fence like this, which will just beautify the
See
area.
it, please?
Huh?
Show it to us.
Yeah, it's just investment which is basically beautifying the area by itself. I hope you like the picture. You like it? That's all I have to say. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer.
Any questions from the board? George?
Yes, I have. Why do we have these two pictures here in your package?
This one was an example. I decided basically this is just the idea of the columns.
Okay.
So I had two options just to build the columns from the gray center block and just put the tile basically right here. But I found a cheaper and more like prettier option just to build it from the red one stone. But the idea is the same. It's the basically columns connected with the sections of aluminum rails.
Also, you mentioned you have a problem with Keystone Road now that it's widened. And don't you have a concrete wall between your property and Keystone Road? And plus, in the front, you have the development's name, Restoration, built about 6 or 8 feet with stones. Is that what you expect to do? Start from there, from Restoration, further up on your property? Is that what you want to do?
No, this basically this one was built before my house was built. This is like old wall, and it was acceptable height before. But when you did this project on the Keystone Road and it was raised, so this wall is like a little bit low. It doesn't really protect my house from the Keystone Road anymore because it's very low now. Yes. So I had several ideas how to make it work. So I just want to build a fence on my front yard. It will not be connected to the wall at all because I have a driveway there.
Okay.
So it just strictly my front yard and the entrance to the front door of my house.
Anything else?
I have a question. How is the difference between the 4-foot and the 6-foot fence going to protect you better? Is what I'm having a little bit of a problem with.
Well, yes. For instance, I am 5'6", right? And I can imagine like if people like of my height, for instance, if it's 4, this is like this. I can basically, well, I want, I can get over there. If it's 6, I would say like this. I just, well, if someone wants to get to the front door, they will definitely find a way. But I guess it's just more like for the visual protection. If this is 6, if I, for instance, see the fence like this, and I want to get to the front door, or if I see the fence like 6, it's more like for the psychological, I guess, protection, because the higher the fence, the people need like maybe a ladder or something. But, well, if they want to get in, they definitely can, right?
I'm only asking that because you made a mention that it's protecting you from keystone, and I just can't understand how that could help
From
you.
the keystone, it's basically first of all, it's just protection to the entrance to the house front door, right? So from the keystone, it's traffic. Well, traffic doesn't stop, yes, but I will put the hedge along that.
Like fence?
Fence by itself, but then on my front yard, I will also plant hedges like type.
Hedges, oh, you say hedges.
Hedges like bushes. So it basically will be a fire and protection to the entrance, right? To the front entrance of the fence. It will be gate open, and also for the privacy, like from the keystone privacy, it will be bushes too, like hedges.
What do you plan on putting in front of the garage?
It's basically nothing in front of the garage. The garage door is facing the Keystone Road.
Right, but if you're not gonna cover that, what is the purpose of covering the other part? It's like, if you're unprotecting that, unless you built this a 6-foot wall straight across, you're not protecting yourself.
Well, the garage, how people, for instance, can get to the garage door? The garage door is closed. I do not leave the garage door open. Are the windows which are facing the Keystone Road are like very high? You need a ladder to climb the windows are very high. The garage door, well, the garage door is not protected, but I cannot build anything there because I need the driveway to the garage, right? It was my idea before, but then that's why I go through the second motion just to protect the front entrance, because I need the driveway to the garage directly.
So are you gonna be able to walk out of your house into the garage?
Well, I can go in the garage from the house, open the house and just drive out
mean
and
that.
close the garage.
I meant if, would you go from inside the, from, let's say, out your front door, and you go out to the right to your garage driveway, would you have a door there?
Yes, it will be walk-in gate.
Would you not be concerned that somebody would be on the other side of that?
Well, it will be a walk-out gate with a lock. I will have the key, I can open, get out, and I will close this basically. It's walk-in with the gate.
So it's gonna be a gate there?
Yes, it will be locked there.
Because what I was looking at wasn't a gate, it looked like a wall.
No, I had this basically from my front door, the walk out, like it will be 2 columns in the gate or within the gate. It will not
So
be
would
like
it be
driveway.
see-through, you'll be able to see through it?
Yes, yes.
Sure.
Center.
You mentioned that you want to plant some hedges
Yes.
as well. Are you aware that city code only allows you to have your hedges 4 feet tall across the front of your property? So you would not be able to allow them to grow to 6 feet, 4 foot is maximum height.
The adjacent house on 1419, and the one after that on 1425, do they have any fence up front?
I'm sorry,
Mayor
can you
Lane.
repeat the question?
On Mayor Lane, the adjacent house, the house next to you, number 1419, and the one after that, 1425,
Yeah.
two homes.
Uh-huh.
Do they have a fence up front?
No, they don't have any.
So if you put a brick fence, as you showed us up front, 6 feet high, what would it do to the area?
Well,
Because you,
your sign has been there for so long, every single person stopped and read that, and no one is coming here to discuss it. I assume everyone agrees, because all my neighbors are so upset over this construction, and everyone understands it jeopardizes the safety of the area. But I'm not building the wall just to separate, like, this will be 7 columns, basically, 7.
it's still going to be made like what you showed us from bricks, to build it up 6 feet. Now, your neighbors and the city, I understand, they already know about this fence, which I can see through and so on and so forth, to go 6 feet. When you build something like that,
No,
that changes the whole,
No, you probably misunderstand me. I'm just showing you the material. I will build those columns.
oh, are you not going to have the same metal
Yes,
cage?
yes, yes, yes. It's exactly the same fence. I just chose different
Okay, that
stone
doesn't
for
matter. Okay.
those ones.
I didn't understand either.
Yeah.
It will not be wall. It's just 7 columns.
All right, let me try to ask you a few questions. You've got a beautiful home, first of all.
Thank you.
Is it fair to say the biggest problem is the abandoned home across the street? That's the most serious problem causing you to want to build this wall?
Well, it's
Let me rephrase that. You said there's 2 problems. One is
Yes,
Keystone
there's
Road, and the other is the house across the street.
yes, it's 2 things, right?
Is one more important than the other? You say one way or the other?
Well, I hope this construction will eventually be demolished.
Is that the most serious problem, is the people living in the abandoned home?
It's a problem, right? It's a real problem, and probably you don't realize how serious it is for all of
Are
us.
people
in
living
this
there
neighborhood.
every night? Is it a continuing problem? You understand my question? Is it very rare for somebody to be there, or are they there all the time, or 3 times a week, or you don't know?
Well, I personally don't watch them because you need to realize location of my house. I get in, I look the front door. And this is the main danger is my front door. Once I protect my front door, I don't care about this construction anymore. And then basically everything, all activities is on the front yard. I try not to get out of my front door to the Meyer Lane
Now,
after let's say 6.
my question is, how often is the home across the street used? Do you know? Or you don't know?
I do not watch it. I try not to get out of my
Alright, that's
front door
fine.
when it's dark. I can ask my neighbor who is watching
Well-
them every night.
Sorry. Could that abandoned home be boarded up? Do you know?
What? I'm sorry.
Is it possible to board up that home so that nobody could be living there? Have you talked to the city code enforcement, the police about that?
No, I didn't. I did not. My neighbor called the police, and she was when she sent me a message that we need to prove she is ready to move it.
We board up the city code?
They couldn't board up in response to a code enforcement problem. It would probably, it would be board up in response to an unsafe building abatement procedure. I guess the broad answer is yes, it could be boarded, but there would need to be a process followed.
There's a problem with that, so.
It could be boarded up. Mrs.
Right.
Sander
It could
also
be,
has
it could be secured.
she has many years of service as a code enforcement officer. Do you have any
Code enforcement doesn't go out and look at properties, they take it before the code enforcement board.
I'm not presently aware of any, but let me go past that property across street. It is probative of none of the criteria for a variance before you guys. I don't know what the status of it is. I am advised the chief coach is aware of it, but what their police department is doing about it, Mr. Chairman, I don't know.
What I understand is that the permit was issued to put the footprint of the home in a certain location, and the builder screwed up and put it on two different parcels. It's not even in the city right away, it's on two parcels, and it's been like that for years. I think that first thing,
Yes.
and some litigation perhaps as well. So you're saying that the existence of the home is of no consequence as far as what we're about to vote on?
It just doesn't, it doesn't go to any of the variance criteria.
Well, is there a motion? I'm sorry. Any further testimony? From anybody in the audience? Have we heard any correspondence? Kim, you know any correspondence from any neighbors or?
Not for or against. I had one person come in and look at the plans, but they didn't, really express an opinion. They just wanted to see what was gonna be done.
Can I ask one more question?
Mr. Eisen?
I'm still finding it hard to grasp how this 2 feet is gonna give you so much more security after you've just said to us that you don't even go out there. I'm not understanding that.
Well, I don't go out because once it's really dark, it's not safe. I don't feel safe to get out of my front door when, like, say, after 7 p.m.
Right,
I don't feel safe.
I understand that. But-
However, if I would have a fence which is in height is higher than me, like this, high fence, I will feel more secure just by myself. I'm not even talking about the child, like walking on the front yard. I do not get out of my front door. I go on my backyard, yes, but I don't get out of my front door after it's dark. I don't think it's safe. When I put a fence like this, with the walk-out gate, which I will lock definitely, and it will be completely connected to the house walls. So my front yard and my front door entrance is completely protected. If someone wants to get through the 6 feet fence, they possibly can and they won't, but it will take, they will need to bring the ladder and probably someone will see them from the Keystone Road, then I don't think they will take this risk.
Have you done any private security investment of your own, like
I'm going.
lights or a dog or other
No.
kinds of security?
Video camera?
I am going to, but the video camera is installed on my neighbor's house. So they basically watch the whole area. But I'm going to install my own.
Any further questions from the board? Thank you very much, Mrs. Connect. Anybody in the audience wish to make any comments about this? Anything from the staff? Luis?
No.
So unfortunately, it seems, I know in Clearwater, for instance, you know, man, I worked with Hugh Fuller, lives on Druid Road, they have 7, 8 foot fences on their property, right, in the front. And they do that for protection. $40 million states. So I get what she's saying, and it's a common thing, it's certainly in Clearwater. But here in Tarpon, it's pretty consistent, 4 foot, and even at the end of my street, it goes from 6 to 4. I always wondered what that was about. And Heather said it was just some arbitrary thing that they decided on in our city some time ago. So it would be nice if we could have that changed. I don't know that there's a will to have that change in the city, but I don't know that that's our duty to change it here tonight. I'm interested to hear what the rest of the board has to say about
I
it.
am also. Board comments, any words of wisdom? Am I right?
I'm just not gonna residential property as just mentioned. And absence of any police reports or any other knowledge of what's going on across the street, any neighbors have complained, have you had any police interaction
Well,
with
if
them?
you ask me specifically, I can bring you the police report from my neighbor. She called them several times, and if you want this proof from me, I will find it out and I will bring it to you. But if I have the refusal letter from all of you right now, and something will happen with this child, who is the only child of me, I'm not gonna just let it go.
Well, we're all living in a very unsafe world.
And I
We all
spent
recognize that, and-
I spent $400 for this. I spent my own time to come here. I spent my efforts to tell you guys that I have the only child here, and he is right here in front of you. And this is your decision in your hands.
Are we to take that as a threat?
I'm sorry, what?
Are we to take that as a threat? That if we
No,
don't
it's
vote
not a
for you-
threat. It's your decision. It's your decision, it's your
All right.
wisdom.
Let me stop this and advise the board that at this juncture, you've heard the evidence, you've heard the testimony, you've got the packet, you've got a set of criteria before you in the staff report to consider and to consider whether this applicant has met those criteria. And that's what we're going to deliberate on here momentarily, if you folks will. We really don't want to get into the back and forth about, all due respect, I've got two children myself. And again, having children is not probative of those criteria. Okay?
Thank you. So then, so all the evidence has been heard, is there a question, is there a motion there? Ms. Shannon?
Move to reject application number 15-116, variance to increase the maximum height of a fence at 1401 Meyer Lane.
I'll second that.
Discussion on the motion, deny the application? Mr. Eisner?
I'm in agreement.
I didn't hear what you said.
Is in agreement?
Okay, that's a second to the motion.
I second.
But you second.
Mr. Grossman.
Okay, all right.
Shall we do a roll call?
I think it's important to note that we are not allowed to change things that are in the code here. And that's really, it would be applying something to someone that no one else in the city has. And that's why the attorney is advising us not to consider all of those variables. And I totally get, and I have no problem with it. A 10-foot fence in front of somebody's house, I have no problem with that. I believe it's their property. And in this country, I believe that we should have the right to do what we choose. However, people in the city agreed to a set of guidelines. And in other cities like Clearwater, like I said, I know a man personally who has, it's gotta be 70-foot fence in front of his place. And for good reason, because he wants, like you, for his kids to be able to play, protected. And, it's unfortunate. I think that the city hopefully will be able to revisit that. And I would ask you to bring that up, with the Board of Commissioners, and perhaps ask them, because it is in their purview, I believe, to make that change. Is that not true?
Yes.
So I would talk to the Board of Commissioners about making that change. And if you can get the people in your community to do likewise, sign a petition, bring it in, and each testify, they might just do that. But our hands are essentially tied.
So you want me to go to my neighbors
Yeah.
and get some petition from them? That's what you're asking me to do?
I'm just making a suggestion. I can't, yes.
So I just need to ask my neighbors to write the petition allowing me to build this fence, right?
And the board can't give you
It's
legal,
okay.
the board
It's
can't give
okay.
you legal advice as to what you should do from here, okay? We're gonna need, you got a motion, you got a second, you had a discussion. If that's the chair's desire, Mr. Chair.
Because no one of my neighbors basically complained. They all agree to the situation, and that's what you said, all the citizens
There are
agree.
neighbor next door last year threatened my life, a woman, next door neighbor for 25 years. Reported it to the police, and now she's in jail in Vasco County for other things. It's a sad situation, but you can do things to protect yourself, and I agree with you. So if there's no further questions, then let's have a roll call vote on the motion.
Ms. Sander,
Yes.
Mr. Eisner,
Yes.
Mr. Burris,
Yes.
Mr. Rogowski,
Yes.
Chairman Elliott.
Yes. Thank you very much for your patience and coming and telling us your.
Okay, so how can I appeal this decision then?
Ma'am, the board can't give you legal advice. I really do apologize for that. There are provisions for that in the code, and I'll direct you to the code. Okay?
So can I get the
If you
information?
It's on the agenda here, and there's some out in the outside.
Um,
In the bottom.
Yeah. Take the agenda, review the code. I would probably suggest you get an attorney.
Yeah, if you look up
There
the
is an
agenda
appeal.
on your way out, they're in the podium outside. There's a note at the bottom of it.
How to
It
initiate
explains
anything?
it explains the.
Thank you. So the next item is number 5. This is variance to reduce the side of rear yard setback, 783 Chesapeake Drive. That's the far east end of Chesapeake Drive. And I believe the applicant is here, is that right, Don? Yes. Okay. Mr. Cerna, would you please?
Yes, this is a two-part variance to reduce the side yard setback to 7 feet and a rear yard setback to 20.9 feet to construct a 2-story addition to an existing home. Section 25.02 of the Land Development Code establishes a side yard setback of 10 feet. 7 feet is being requested, and a rear yard setback of 30 feet. 20.9 feet is being requested. Staff's finding in regard to this application are as follows. The request is to allow construction of a 14 by 70-foot 2-story addition to an existing home. The hardship for the variance is physical hardship of the land. Granting of the variance would not extend the special privilege to the applicant. There are other homes in this area that have reduced setbacks, and granting of this variance would not hinder the character of the existing neighborhood and would not create a nuisance. This request does conform to the general intent of the land development codes and the policies of the comprehensive plan. Based on staff's findings in regard to the review criteria, staff is recommending approval of the requested variance to reduce the side yard setback to 7 feet and the rear yard setback to 20.9 feet. The staff report does include an analysis. It does indicate that the proposed development would be consistent with other homes in the area. The applicant is available to answer any questions, and I'm available to answer any questions in regard to the findings.
Thank you, sir. Before we get further on, have you received any public comments, any phone calls, letters on this application?
No.
All right. Did I hear you say you're a doctor?
I'm a cat veterinarian.
Okay, you're a doctor. All right, Dr. Morazzo, is that right?
Yes.
DVM.
Cat hospital.
That's me.
Okay. All right, you have the right to present your case and cross-examine the staff if you desire to do so, Doctor.
I'd just like to take a moment to thank the members of the Planning and Zoning Board, members of this board, and my neighbors for taking the time to be here this evening to consider our request. We're making this request for this proposed addition to accommodate some unexpected needs of our family. We were thinking that the two of us would occupy the house. We've come to learn that Michelle's father is ill, and he's going to be moving in with us sometime in the near future, and her daughter will be as well. So instead of being a home for a couple, it's going to be a home for generational residents. We've taken a look at how to best accommodate the needs of our father, ourselves, and the neighborhood and our neighbors, and we think we've come up with a good plan for everybody. The topography of our land is unusual. It's very steeply graded. And I've come to learn that a portion of my property is actually submerged and I'm paying taxes on it, which was an interesting finding. So I feel that our request is in line with the square footage of other homes in the area. I think that it's been planned to be in character with existing structures and it's consistent with existing setbacks of other homes in our neighborhood. We're confident that this variance request will allow us to create a home that meets the multi-generational needs of our family while not diminishing property values for anybody in our neighborhood. And we'll take every step possible to make sure that that happens.
That's it.
That's,
I have a question procedurally. I was out to the property a few days ago and I saw the sign, the city's placard was down.
I know, I put it up in, with a screw and I think it's come off again. The wind blows it off.
Are you putting it up yourself?
Try to. We don't live there currently. I've had some health issues and we haven't even moved into the house yet. So we bought it in the middle of November and we're still in a 900 square foot condo. So we don't go down there often.
But you don't know how long the placard's been down the ground?
I do not.
Is that a legal problem?
No, I don't think the city had it. It was posted originally. It's also been published.
You sent notices out, right?
Notices been sent. Yeah, we don't have an obligation to monitor the sign. We should.
All right, board questions of the applicant or staff? Nothing? Nothing, come on, something. All this work, you guys.
We will talk then.
Well, I'll ask a couple. Make myself useful. Is there a rendering of the site? Do you have any idea what the addition will look like, the variance is granted?
We've gone through a couple of renderings and where they've been dictated by the cost which has surprised us. The proposal is for an extension on what I call the north side of the building toward Anclote River, but the building is kind of askew on the property. It's our plan to build a second story on that as well as along the rear portion of the house.
So you have some idea what it looks like. You have no drawings or renderings?
No
We
elevation.
can't force you to do that.
We've already spent thousands with just coming up with what I just told you.
Welcome to the process. I noticed the AC unit is on the side that you want to.
It is.
And when you build houses this close, it can be a problem with the AC units being so close to people's bedrooms.
Okay.
Is there any thought about where that AC unit is gonna be? Are you gonna deaden the sound with the rest of it?
I don't know what the plans are for where the AC unit would be located, but I'm sympathetic to what you're saying because I've been in situations where I've had neighbors' AC units right behind here. So, the newer units are quieter than that clunker I have out there. I think it's 18 years old. I'm not sure. It may be located on that side. The side that the addition is going on, this north side, there's gonna be 7 feet from our proposed exterior wall to the fence line and then another 7 feet on the other side. And nothing on the other side is a bedroom area of our neighbors. We've already talked to them about that. So it's more a common area, living room and their kitchen.
Do you have any, I'd like to get a letter of no objection from the neighbors if you have anything. You talk to your neighbors.
I've talked to Tom and Della who live next door, and they had no objection as long as, in fact, they were pleased that something that I did there might enhance the value of their home, which I believe it will. On the other side of their property is an empty lot that's been empty for quite some time, I believe, and then beyond that is a mobile home park.
And so The property that, or the people that you just mentioned, they're the ones with the shed that's right on the fence line?
Tom, my other neighbors on the other side, Bob and Nancy, are here tonight, so,
Okay. Very good. Okay. All right.
yeah, and that's not a problem for us, I mean, it's been there forever, so.
To be clear, there's no requirement in the code whether no objection is submitted with advance application, don't do one or two.
I didn't want to say there was, I would like to
Oh,
know
okay.
if the neighbors had any objection.
No, they
Told you-
didn't. I did speak with both the neighbors on either side. I finally got a hold of Bob and Nancy the other day. Tom Bell I spoke to, a while ago.
Anything further for the board?
I just realized that, some 15 years ago, before I moved to Tarpon Springs, this man got into a head. So, it took a while for that to kick in. So I don't know if that's ex parte or not, but I'm pretty sure I can.
Full disclosure, it's
Yeah.
not.
That's all right.
Do you still have the cat?
Unfortunately, no.
Did this man kill the cat?
No, no, he didn't.
You're about 8 years ago, I was giving a teacher, or a seminar to children, it's Teacher's Day or Profession Day, I forget what it's called. And I was in an elementary school and I gave my presentation about being a veterinarian. And at the end of it, I said, anybody have any questions? And I'm in this class, bunch of young people, teachers, parents along the back wall. This little young man raised his hand and I said, and he said, you killed my cat. and everybody along the back wall looked like you guys. And it ended up being, the cat was very ill. I had been working in an emergency room. The cat had to be euthanized. And, you know, I walked him through that, and then the teacher came up and she says, I was mortified for you. I don't know how you got out of that. Anyway, you reminded me of that.
Anybody in the audience wish to make a comment? Now's your chance. Yes, sir. You can stay there if you like.
I did not expect to be
Your name, please, sir?
Bob Fisher,
Yes, sir.
775 Chesapeake Drive.
Okay.
And while Bob was speaking, I thought of an answer to maybe one of his problems. There are companies by the name of Monsanto down in St. Louis that develop new products for the construction industry and others, and they were made as a product called foam core. Foam core was introduced to put in the walls of buildings so that if you had a bathroom in one apartment and right next to it is a bathroom in another, foam core was put in the wall to interrupt the transmission of sound from one room to another room. So if you had any problems with noise problems or characteristics, if you used the proper products, you could solve some of these problems.
Do you have any objection to the variance?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any objection to the variance?
I just came to get an education tonight.
All right, well, not much of an education, but you're welcome to stay.
In case you're curious, they make a product called Isolene also.
I'm
which
sorry?
They make a product called Isolene, which is also could be sprayed in the walls.
Yeah. I'm going back a long way when I worked for Monsanto,
All right.
and that was
This
1967.
is all very
so-
nice, but it's really not germane to the issues tonight. Anything else? All right, staff, no comments? All right, is there a motion on the,
Motion to approve.
Second.
it's for both variances, correct? Any discussion of motions? Seeing, hearing none, let's have a roll call vote, please.
Ms. Sander,
Yes.
Mr. Eisner,
Yes.
Mr. Burris,
Yes.
Mr. Rabowski,
Yes.
Chairman Elliott.
Yes. Okay, you have 2 years to start construction of the variance terminates.
Very good, thank
We'll
you.
get a letter to you sooner or later that says that. Thank you very much. You did a very fine presentation. And you too have a beautiful home.
Thank you.
Okay, now let me go back to the staff comments. Ms. Yothers.